Authenticity isn't a nice to have in leadership. It's a non-negotiable. In a world full of facades, only your truth is the boldest move you can make. Welcome to the Danni Vee Show, the podcast for high-performing business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs ready to lead with elegance, courage, and radical responsibility. I'm Danni Vee, and I'm here to help you strip away the fluff and step fully into your power at the boardroom and in business. In each episode, we'll share no-nonsense insights and real conversations on what it takes to show up authentically, make tough decisions with grace, and create impact at the highest levels. So if you're ready to own your voice and lead on your terms, you're in the right place. So let's dive in. Welcome back to the Danni Vee Show. It is such an honor to introduce you today to Christine Corcoran. She is the high-ticket sales strategist and business mindset master coach, and #1 best-selling author of Turn Imposter Syndrome into Your Superpower. And let me tell you, it is a fantastic read. You must grab it. She's also an international speaker, podcast host, and visionary behind the Next Level Mastermind, host of the annual Unstoppable Women event, which I had the privilege of speaking at last year. Christine specializes in building business-to-business female entrepreneurs to attract aligned clients through rock-solid mindset, authentic sales, and high-ticket selling. Armed with expertise in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, matrix therapies, and M-braining, Christine delivers transformative coaching experiences that transcends traditional sales approaches. By delving into the subconscious mind, she helps clients overcome limiting beliefs, shatter self-imposed barriers, and supports them building six- and multi-six-figure businesses they dream of. She combines this into her own methodology, the confident closing method and breakthrough mindset method. You can join her community of ambitious female entrepreneurs committed to rewriting their financial narratives, scaling their businesses, and achieving true freedom. Christine is also the host of the Next Level Life podcast. It's a bi-weekly drop of motivation and inspiration where she shares the mindset tools you need to take your business to the next level. It is such an honor to interview my friend and absolute inspiration today. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Danni Vee Show, Christine. What an absolute privilege to have you here to speaking to me and my audience. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for our conversation. We've been chatting about it for ages, so it's so nice that we can finally do this.
Yeah, it's hard to get two busy people in one room together, isn't it?
It is.
Definitely.
We're not even in each other's room. We're in our own offices, and it's even harder.
We're in our virtual rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just really excited to be speaking to you about so many things. For those of you that don't know me, Christine was my coach. I don't even know how many years ago it was now, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we did some really deep inner work and identity work that, everybody knows that I'm really passionate about. So it's really exciting to see Christine on big stages talking about this type of thing and supporting women on a bigger meter of that now. So can't wait to pick your brains and for you to share your wisdom with my audience as well. So thank you so much. So let's get started. My first question is about how you've really built your community, and you've been building a community for many, many years. And that's actually how I got to meet you. It was when you were running your events in Paddington, and I went to one of those events there, and it was really exciting. And you were just so supportive in me coming into that as somebody that didn't know anyone. So in a world that now is just so online, everything's available online, why do you still believe the power of connecting in person?
Well, I think the first thing to notice is that anyone is successful in business has a community. Straight up. If you just notice it, like who you follow, who you connect with, I guarantee you they are developing a community. They're pouring into their community. They're supporting their community. And then that comes back in tenfold. So when you have a community, it supports so much within your business. Like I'm not just talking making money, but it supports your mindset. It supports, being around other incredible people that will pour into you. The supportiveness of how we need a community, like anything that we do, community is so incredibly important. And I'm really passionate about bringing women together, especially like community in general, but like bringing women together. There is just something to be said when we bring women together to have really powerful, vulnerable conversations. So much shifts and it impacts us on a cellular level, and women need it. Like we crave it, we require it. And I think is very different to the way that men interact. Like, yes, they need it. We all need connection as human beings, but women really do need it, especially in the business space. And so I just love to create that opportunity for people to come together. And I've been obsessed with events way before my business even started. I love the energy of events. I attended a couple of Tony Robbins events and became absolutely obsessed with the personal development line, went down studying neuroscience, went down the avenue of learning coaching and then developing that side of myself before then starting a business with it. And I think that bringing people together to have that experience, to transform together, that immersiveness, it just changes the way that we experience ourselves and also business. And so I think community is incredibly important. And if you're not developing one, you should start, and you should start small. Like, I
Yes.
started Love What You Do Collective
That's what
so
it's called. Love what you
small.
do.
Yeah. And it was so small, and I ran it for 3 years, and it was challenging because it was every single month. Like, I don't, back then that's where it needed to be. And that's how I wanted to start it. And every single time, every single month when I stepped into that room and people started arriving, I was always reminded of the power of connection. I was always reminded of the power of conversation and pouring into a community. And I just absolutely loved it. And I think, like, when I look back on the way it's developed over the years, like, I didn't know it would develop in this way. Like, I was just like, I started going to networking events in Brisbane and hated them. They were horrible. And I was,
You and I have had many conversations about
yeah,
this.
yeah. And getting business cards pushed into your hands and
Yes.
being sold and pitched to, and just awkwardness, like super awkwardness. And I was like, I can do this better. And these are not my people. I want to find my people. And so that's when I started the Love What You Do Collective. And I started it by convincing one of my friends to do it with me. She was not keen, but I was like, I know you'll be great at this. And so I forced her to. And
Like a good true friend.
yeah, and she was amazing. And she only lasted about 4 of the events in. And then she was like, it just doesn't feel like me. I don't want to do this every single month. And already by then, by the fourth event, I was like, I don't want to let our community down. Like, everyone loves it.
Yeah.
They come every single month. They have connections and develop friendships in ways that they don't already have in their lives. So I was like, I'm going to continue this on, and I'm going to bring other speakers in, and I'm going to make it fun, and I'm going to pour back into my community because I know in some way, shape or form, it will come back to me in tenfold, but also because I love it.
I love community too. And I think what you were saying about the transformation in a group, like that collective conscious, is just very, very powerful. So if you haven't experienced it, find the right tribe as well. Like, I think that's one big thing that you said there, like, really find your community as well, because, you can be repelled from that if it's not someone shoving a business card in your face as well.
So many different types that will repel you. Like, that's why I'm like, don't give up on the first one you go to. Don't go to one and be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, every event's going to be like this. You've got to find your people. And when you do, like, stay true to it, because honestly, like, I've been to, and I still, like, events is a big part of my business strategy. So I'm attending events all the time. I've got 5 to attend this month. So, like,
Yeah, it's a
I'm
lot.
attending events all the time and pouring into people that I meet, but I'm also, like, really interested to see what else is out there. And I honestly believe, like, the person who is running the event, if you connect with their values, you'll connect with the people in the community because your
Yeah.
values will be very aligned.
That leads to my next question, where you said you've already run countless events over the years in person. And what can't you replicate online that you really need to have in person?
So I believe there's 2 sides of this. One, the business side of things, where the level of immersion that can happen when you're in person, because you've got people's full attention, right? When you're in a room, it's socially unacceptable to not pay attention. So you're required to pay attention, which means you have got people's attention, full attention in that room. And so you have a responsibility there, and you have an opportunity there where you can utilize it to grow your business. And so you want to think about, okay, what am I going to do with that person's attention? And so there is power in that if you're the one running it. Secondly, obviously, the more people who know who you are and what you do, the more likely it is that you will get referrals, the more likely it is you expand your network and your business. So even as a business strategy of an individual attending events, like, that is so much more powerful. And the level of referral from a person who you've met is so much more powerful than someone that you've met online, right? If
It's that
someone's
trust factor, isn't it? You're
a
building that
huge,
trust.
huge level of
Yes.
trust can be built because you could feel someone's energy. The other side of it, I honestly believe, is a human need. We need human connection.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be able to look people in people's eyes. We need to feel their energy. And your heart actually, the electromagnetic waves that emanate out of your body, of like almost 3 feet outside of your body, makes other people feel what it feels like to be connected to you. So that is impacting other people in your circle. And if you're not getting around other people, you are going to keep doing the same thing you've always done. So not only it's the human connection, it's how you are shifted and changed as a person by being in other people's energy, that level of proximity. And it's not like, I mean, I could talk about this for hours, but like the proximity element is you always become the people that you surround yourself with the most, right?
Yes.
Subconsciously and like behaviorally, you will change to be accepted because it's a subconscious, it's a core need for us to feel like we belong. So we will subconsciously sometimes not realize that we're adjusting the way that we behave, the way that we show up, the way that we speak, the way that we engage, all of that, or the way that we take action in our business. If we want to keep it business focused, you will change to be like the people you surround yourself with, to feel like you are accepted and to feel like you belong. So you have to be conscious of who you're spending your time with. So the environment shifts you on a cellular level if you surround yourself with the right people. And so being conscious of that, of like being at events, like you get to have the proximity to people who are showing up for themselves, taking action, investing in themselves, putting themselves out there. And then you know what happens? You then want to become like them. And that's going to change your behavior and your standards for yourself. And that's where I think that it goes way beyond just proximity, because I think that proximity gets a bad rap. Like I think in the coaching industry, we've, been through the years of like people selling their energy.
Yeah.
Like get in the room with me and you get to connect, you get to be close to my energy. Like that, we've gone beyond that where people are like, well, that I'm calling bullshit on that.
Mm-hmm.
But there is an identity level shift that happens depending on how you approach attending events and you approach the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah, I really love that. And with the proximity, I guess it can be the positive and the negative as well, because over the years, I have really tried to go into different circles. And like you said, the proximity of the people I was around was not empowering to me. So I actually shrunk myself down for many, many years. And then, I guess it's like for you, for example, like you've always been such a cheerleader for me and always we've been knowing each other for so many years and we will do anything to support each other because of that proximity. And it's important to find people like that, I believe, because I think sometimes when people think about being in rooms and like, I have to attend this event and I have to attend that event, that if it's not people that are going to be cheerleaders for you, so that environment, that person that's running that event, think about who they are, because they're going to attract those people that you want to be around as well. So yeah, I think that's really great.
And I think it's important to be conscious of how you approach attending an event and who you want to be around, because I think, like, I can speak from my own experience here. Like, sometimes we get caught up in the status of things of like, oh, I want to be surrounded by next level incredible people. So I flew over 12,000 kilometers to America to attend.
You've done twice, haven't you now?
3 times.
Oh, 3 times.
Yeah, to attend high level entrepreneurial events. And it was incredible. Like, don't get me wrong, absolutely loved it. Would do it again and will do it again many, many times over. The level of entrepreneurialism and the mindset that Americans have compared to the lack mindset that a lot of Aussies have, it is a very different environment. But one of the biggest lessons that I experienced in that is that it's not about necessarily being close to the famous people or the successful people on that level, unless you are considering how you are approaching it. I attended I attended 3 different events over the year, and the way I showed up at each event was different. And the way that the lesson that I learned from it is that I went to America to expand my network and to get around really high level successful people and to be around expanded thinkers. But what I learned from it was that I actually hadn't shown up in an expanded way in Australia.
Oh, I just got goosebumps, Christine. Yes.
I had not expanded my network. I had looked above the people that I was surrounding myself with and being like, well, they're my peers. I want to go to next level people. And one of the biggest lessons I learned from Laurie Harder, who was one of my beautiful mentors, is that she was like, the people that you see, like the up and comers and the people that like come out of nowhere and then they become huge and you're like, oh my God, how did they get so big? And then you want to be around them. She was like, you want to think about the people that you're in the room with rather than the people who are on the stage. The people that you're in the room with are the next level people that are coming up.
Yes.
And you're overlooking them and going, I want to be next to the people who have the proximity of the people on stage. But she was like, stop looking at the stage and start looking at the person who's sitting next to you. because everyone has the
That's very
capacity
powerful.
and you just never know what can happen. And I've seen that happen time and time again over the years where people that I've met at events, at retreats, at conferences that I've gotten to know and stayed in contact with that now I'm still friends with, and now I'm seeing them absolutely blow up, right? And I'm like, yes, I'm so excited for them. But it's such a confirmation of like, yeah, she was right. Like, stop looking at the next level people and start looking about people you can surround yourself with now, because there are plenty of people that are literally about to blow up or literally are on that trajectory to go big that you're ignoring. So I hope that I'm getting this across in the way that I'm wanting it to get across. It's like the way that you approach the event was different. So I showed up at that first event being nervous, feeling like I didn't belong, feeling like I had major imposter syndrome, and thinking I didn't really have much value to add to such a successful room. The second event, I was like, I'm not going to approach it like that anymore. I've paid to be here. I know that I have value to add. I am as successful in my own right. I absolutely can add value to this room. And so again, I stopped looking to the stage and started looking to the people who were sitting beside me. And I developed stronger connections, and I developed a new level of belief in myself of what I believed I was capable of. And this is where the identity shift started to happen. That third event, I walked into that event completely a different person. I was like walking in going, who can I connect with? Who can I meet that I could actually gain just some incredible knowledge from? Just for like, I want to know more about them. I was ready to pour into people. I was ready to stay focused on the connection. And that changed my business like in a whole new level. Again, just attending an event, but approaching it from a different perspective. It wasn't about being seen there. It wasn't about or like meeting heaps of people. It was like being really intentional with the connections that I had made and thinking about ways that I could pour into people and give, not with the intention of getting, just giving. And that honestly, I'm still friends with so many people that I met at that last event and those all three events. And it's just changed the way that I then think about the connections that I make here in Australia and the way that I attend events, because most people are networking wrong. They're honestly networking wrong. They're networking from a perspective of what can I get instead of what can I give.
I could go on about this for a very long time. I'm very passionate about this because I've come across it a lot. I'm losing my voice. Good for a podcast. And I believe that giving is really important. I also believe that you have to be mindful of that as well, because I am a big giver. And I found that because I was like that and I was in that mindset, from a lack mindset though, also, that I gave and gave and gave, and people took and took and took. And I was that person that nobody watched or nobody wanted to have anything to do with because I wasn't famous enough yet. So it's really interesting now that I am on that trajectory, how many people are starting to notice when before they wouldn't. So it's an interesting, I think there's just such a whole cycle that I could talk about here in networking and being really mindful. So you are really great at this. And a lot of people have said, I'm really great at this, because I actually want to build relationships. I don't want to just meet someone to get something out of them. I actually really want to build relationships. And I find that there's so many people that will say, oh, let's catch up. Let's, go for a coffee. And then they don't even reply to messages and things like that. So I think the message here also is be that person that reaches out and has that conversation with someone. If somebody wants to ask you a question, answer the question.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're not getting paid for that one question. Don't give away all of your time, which I have done also.
Like, yes,
I've learned all the lessons.
Like,
Have
boundaries,
boundaries, which I didn't for a while. But like really learn to build relationships, because it's so beautiful, and you can support someone and that comes back to you. That's the universal rule. Like, it's going to come back to you. And then I guess like also about the women that say, I don't have enough time. I'm too busy in my business. I just can't attend that event because I just don't have that time in my business. And then leaning into that networking, what advice would you give them? Because it is really important in your business to build your network.
Yeah. So I think sometimes we can be a little bit short-sighted. And when attending events, we often make it, like it's a thing, either I can't afford it, I'm not setting aside that money, or secondly, like it's a time factor. And I honestly think when you attend the right event, like every event's going to be different. Like there's different types. You can go to a networking event that's in an evening. You can do a full day event, which is more of a business development level. Like there's so many different types. Obviously, like with my Unstoppable Women event, it is a full day event. So I am like expecting people to be there for the full day. So it's a full 9 to 5. And it is a big day. But I think that the way that I think about events is the long-term impact an event can have, it goes way above a social media post or a DM. Honestly,
Just
it goes
speaking
so
to
much further.
I love it. Keep talking.
Yeah. And I think as well, like people look at it like, again, like I'm going to get, and I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to listen to some speakers. And I'm like, no, you're doing it wrong. Like you want to think about, there's two types of networking, right? We're obviously going to network to find clients, right? That's a possibility. Absolutely. If you show interest, pour into people, there's a possibility that like literally I went to an event last week and two people were like, oh, I need you. And that happens, right? And that's amazing. But that's honestly not what I'm going into it for. I'm looking at my long-term goals within my business, right? I'm thinking 18 months, 2 years down the track, what do I want in my business and who do I need in my corner? Who do I need in my network to be able to support those goals? And so every time I do this, it honestly changes the way that I show up at an event because you just never know who you are going to meet. And I wish sometimes that we attended an event and above people's heads was this neon sign and was like, this person is a multimillionaire, has had 7 businesses and they've achieved this, or this person is award winner in this, or this person is an absolute like game changer when it comes to copywriting. This person is this. Like I wish that was what the case is when we walk to events, but it's not, which means you have to ask really great questions to find out the gold that is there within a person to uncover how they could benefit you in the future, but also how you can add value to them. Because I guarantee you, if the right event, the right people, those people will refer clients onto you, or they will have the connections that you need in the future, or they'll have the answers to the questions that you have, or you may even not know that you have yet because they've already done what you're about to do. That's the power of networking when you go into it with an intention of like, okay, next 18 months to 2 years, what are my goals? What do I really want to achieve? And who do I need to be surrounded by? And I think about it like that. Conversations that will change the trajectory of who I am and what's possible for me. The connections that other people have. I literally was having a conversation with someone on this Friday event that I went to that was literally a small little coffee catch up. And as she was sharing what she does, I was like, that's a really good connection to have because I possibly think she could connect me with the right person in city council for this and this that I'm having a plan for in 18 months. And like, she doesn't know that, right? And I haven't even asked her about this yet, but I clocked it and I was like, oh, I want to stay connected to that person because most people want to help. Most people want to give. And
I agree.
When you give to them, there is a reciprocation that happens. So eventually people will want to give back. And so if you're going into it of like, cool, I'm going to pour into that person, but I'm just interested in being like, who is in the room that I possibly can be connected with, have conversations with, that then I will absolutely follow up with. Like the follow-up piece is incredibly important. You can't build a relationship on no response. And that has always supported the growth of my business because when I now, like even with the Unstoppable Women event, with everything that I'm doing there, I'm like, who am I connected to that could connect me with that person? Who could help me with this? And it could be the stage design, the videography. It could be, oh no, like honestly, there's so many different elements. And I always go to who, not how, because there is always someone within my network that has done what I'm about to do or that has the connection that I would really want to connect with. And if I've poured into them first, then asking for something at that point, that people are always like, of course, let me help. Right?
Yeah.
So I think it's like thinking about it like that. Think about it over the next 18 to 2 years. It's also a list of like, yes, possible potential clients you should stay connected with. And secondly, how can you expand your network to be surrounded by the right people? I also go into it with who is really cool that I just want to spend more time with, that I know that I will change and I will show up more. I'll be more positive. I will be more active. I will be like take action in different areas of my business because if I surround myself with those people and I connect with that person and hang out with them, I will become similar to them.
Yeah,
and so
I agree with that so much. So much. And I think that's like one of the big reasons why I've stayed with friends with you for so long, because you have that positive outlook, but also because you're real. And, you know, I talk a lot about authenticity and I have like a bit of a twitch how everybody talks about authenticity and they don't have it. But I love that about you in the sense that you're just going to tell me how it is. And I love that, you know, and it's really important to be around those people that are going to tell you how it is too, not just tell you rainbows and butterflies when you should be going this way and they're going, no, just go this way. It'll be great. So yeah, I agree with that so deeply. And you've kind of answered the question that I wanted to ask next, but I think there is something deeper that you will be able to share with the audience is that you've worked with so many business women at all different levels for a very long time now. And what would be the difference between the ones that have that growth trajectory and the ones that stay in that stuck cycle and they're just like, I'm stuck at an income ceiling, I'm stuck at, I don't know enough people or whatever that is. What's the difference?
You sent me this question before the podcast and I really pondered on it because I was like, what is that sweet spot? What is that gap? And I would say it's a couple of different things. And it honestly will, I'm going to say mindset. Like you already know this. Like I'm going to say your mindset,
Yeah.
but I'm going to go one step further with this. One, I think it's having the intention to grow. Not a lot of people are actively choosing to grow. They're actively choosing comfort over growth every single time. And they're not challenging themselves to step outside their comfort zone. Secondly, I would say ego. And I'm going to say this with as much love and compassion as possible because I don't mean being egotistical. That's not what I mean at all. I mean recognizing when your ego is getting in the way of you taking scary action. Because this is honestly how we hold ourselves back. We go, oh, I already know enough. I already do enough. I already am good enough, or I don't really worry about the judgment of people, but you're actually not putting yourself out there, or you're worried about being seen as a beginner again. Like I think this new evolution of AI has really like weeded people out where people are like, oh, business is too hard. I'm giving up on it. I'm moving away.
Yeah, it's true. It's
right?
so true. Yeah.
Whereas being the willingness to be the beginner again and set aside your ego and be like, actually, I don't know this and I suck at this and I'm wanting to get better at it. I honestly believe that people who are super successful in business are willing to address where their ego, their shadow side is showing up, willing to look at it and being like, okay, what is that belief system? What is that fear? What is my ego telling me that I'm literally holding myself back from my next level because of all of these reasons? So it's the willingness to do that deep work. It's the willingness to look at the ego because it is not easy. That shadow work is not easy. And so
No.
acknowledging that, I think that people have that intention where they're going, I'm willing to grow, willing to fail, willing to suck at it, willing to give it a go to get better at it. And a lot of other time people are just choosing comfort and they're like, this is all I need. I'll just stay here. It's fine.
I like that. I like how you said be willing to be the beginner again, because I guess that there's a lot of people that might not understand ego and shadow work like we do because we do a lot of the work with it. But like being willing to be that beginner again really makes sense to anybody, and be brave as well, because we know our brain's just trying to keep us safe. And I often say to my clients, your brain's trying to keep you safe, and that's doing a good job, and that's okay. But if you want to grow, you have to do something different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like that. Be willing
and-
to be the beginner again.
And ego gets in the way in so many different areas. Like it holds us back from looking actually at the data of our business and what the business is actually telling us. Secondly, it could be putting
That
you
was
in.
me for so long.
It could be preventing you from being a great leader because you're so worried about hurting people's feelings or being seen as not their friend or being
Me
seen as
too.
someone who's being too bossy. It could be holding yourself back from actually sharing your wins and your breakthroughs and your accomplishments and what you've achieved. It could be showing up in the way that it's preventing you from seeing what's not working. This is a big one for a lot of people. They have this like wall that goes up and being like, but this is the way that I've always done it. Or, I'm just not even willing, and I'm putting my hand up like to the side because I'm like not even willing to look at that because I'm just really going to ignore that that's not working anymore.
Yeah.
And the people that are willing to look at it and actually go, hang on a minute, that's my ego getting in the way. Like I remember having a conversation with a coach about this a few years ago. And I was saying like, talking about one of my programs that I was running. And she said to me, why haven't you gotten support in these areas before? And I was like, I actually had a terrible answer. I was like, I don't even know. And she challenged me on it. And she was like, I think that there's other ways to go about doing this, but you're the one getting in your own way and you're thinking you need to do it all yourself.
Oof.
And you want
love
to
it when a
be,
coach says that to me.
and she's like, and you want to be seen as the person doing it all yourself. And so you're not willing to actually have like a support coach come in. You're not willing to have other people come into your containers and take a little bit of piece of the pie because of that. And I was like, oof, like it hit me like right in the solar plexus. It was like, bam. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you're too focused on you and more, you need to be more focused on your client. How are you going to get your client the results and how are you going to support them to get that result versus actually thinking it needs to be you getting their result because you're getting too much validation from the results you're achieving for your clients.
Well, I think that like looking back on your journey, because you've been to so many incredible events, especially the ones over in the States, and you are always putting yourself out there, and you're always being brave. You're always okay to look like the beginner, but you never do. But I know, like, I think that really helps the audience to understand. What do you think was the one event, and I want you to try and pick one, I know there might probably is many, that has actually shifted the trajectory of your business?
I'm sorry, there wasn't ever just one.
I know. That's why I said just pick one.
Because I feel like every single different event gave me something different. So like running retreats, really, like I felt so deeply connected, and the breakthroughs that we created in those environments and the connections that we made were so beautiful. They also challenged me on so many different levels, because it was really challenging to sell and really challenging to, even facilitate 3 whole days with people is actually a lot of energy and attention.
Yes, definitely.
I think the challenge of doing Love What You Do and it actually not being profitable for a good 2.5 years or 2 years was a very big challenge, because I was like, oh, I'm doing all the things, but it's not getting me the result. And
Mm,
really, again, it was the ego self coming in and being like, this all looks great, but actually behind the scenes, is it benefiting you? And so I learned a lot through that of like how to make events profitable, how to consider the price point, how to consider communicating your value, and really getting clear on what makes an event unique to you and what you're
mm,
creating. Then I would say like the types of events that I've attended, like the Tony Robbins events, I probably would say like that's more personal versus business. Like
okay.
walking on fire, like
Yeah,
that
I've done that.
honestly twice. And then I took my mum to the second time and she walked on fire, and that was pretty awesome. And then I would say the conferences that I've run, like the Rise Up conference that I ran, like the breakthroughs and the deep work that we did with a lot of the attendees there, and see the level of vulnerability in the room really shifted people on a whole new level. And that was really special, really, really special.
Mm,
And then I will bring it around to the Unstoppable Women event, like putting that event on last year. And again, I think it's more me, the identity and the belief in my business. Like I know like it's benefited my business, absolutely. But I just think back to that moment standing on stage and thanking everyone for being a part of making my dream come true, because I had spent months and months planning it, and every single day I'd meditate on it and I'd visualize exactly the way I'd want the event to go. I'd
amazing.
visualize that moment being like, that's the moment I'm going to feel like, wow, like I can't believe I pulled this off. And
Mm,
I had that moment and was like, I had that moment because I backed myself and I didn't doubt myself, even though like I didn't listen to the doubt, I should say. I still doubted myself, but I didn't listen to the doubt. And I maybe blindly went towards like the optimism of like, it's all going to work out, and continuously like found new ways, found new ways to overcome obstacles, found new ways to put the event out there to encourage people to join. I, I think when you promote an event for 6 months, it's a lot of energy and it's a lot of intention around your marketing strategy. That takes a lot of attention. So it was literally like running a whole separate business to my business. And so it was very stressful and it was very overwhelming. And yet that moment on stage, and then also after the event when I was talking to people and they were saying like, they were reflecting back to me what my intention was for the event. And they were
mm,
reflecting back like, I absolutely feel like anything is possible now. I'm absolutely going to be on this stage next year. I absolutely am going to put myself forward for these opportunities. Like they reflected back this level of confidence and belief that I was like, that's what I really wanted. And then the other element being the tall poppy syndrome was a really like, this is why I started the events, because I just want more Australians to be so forthcoming in sharing why they're great, because Americans do this really bloody well. And I had these moments in the room that I was like, it's working. It's actually working. And every single speaker like reflected everything back. Like it was just honestly, like that moment was incredible. And I just look back at that event and being like, I can't believe, like, I still am so shocked that I pulled it off to the extent that I pulled it off. Like, yes, there were challenges and there were moments where I was like we had slide issues and we had clicker issues, like we had issues. But honestly, like, I look back and be like, I'm so proud of what I created there.
There was never a doubt in my mind that you'd pull it off.
Yeah, like, but then I would say there was doubts. I was so stressed, like behind the scenes, like you wouldn't have noticed because you wouldn't have seen it, so I didn't show you. But like the level of anxiety that I had, that I was like, how am I going to pay that next installment? I need more ticket sales to come in. How am I going to afford this? How am I going? Like it's a very high level event. So there's a lot of expenses that go into it. And yet it's like, okay, how do we like pull back the reins on the budget? How do we make sure that all the little sweet spots and the little moments are fine tuned? Like we had the run sheet down to the minute. Like it was insane. And we'll do it again this year. And it's when you put yourself on the line like that, when you put your money on the line, when you put your reputation on the line, where you have to I almost back myself into a corner, right? And I'm doing it again this year. But like, it's crazy how, that's that entrepreneurial energy that you like, you do this to yourself. But honestly, when you put yourself on the line like that, and the same thing with when I attended those events in America, I was like, I'm going to have to show up. I have to show up. Like, otherwise it's going to be a public epic failure. Like, right? So like, if I don't show up, like it's calling me forward and making me put myself forward in a way that I had to show up in the best way I possibly could, because I have to have my own back. There was no one else backing me. I had no other financial backing, had no sponsors. Like I was literally like, it's all on me. And so that can be really motivating, very motivating.
And so when you think about the intentions that you had for the event, and you set those intentions and you meditated over it, and then after the event, a lot of people came and like repeated that back to you because you actually put that energy out. What would you say to women listening to this podcast now, thinking about coming to Unstoppable Women in 2026, and the takeaway that they're going to get beyond strategy? Because I think a lot of people, and I speak about this a lot, that everybody thinks they need to buy another course or another strategy or another, something else, but it is that deeper work that we've been speaking about. So what can you share with them that or your intention for them to take away?
So the purpose of the event is to eradicate tall poppy, which means like challenging people's mindsets to actually understand how you're holding yourself back by not putting yourself out there because of that fear of being torn down. It's also recognizing that I want to create a room where you are so highly supported and cheered on and encouraged to really go after your next level bold ambitions, right? We need those rooms.
We
We don't
them.
often have those in our lives, and we need those rooms. And so that's my real goal and intention around the event, is eradicate tall poppy and to have that space where you are so cheered on and encouraged that you absolutely develop a level of belief in yourself, because you have all of this proof around you that from the speakers and from the conversations that you're having in the room, there's going to reflect back to you that you're so capable, like you're so freaking capable. And that's what I really want for the women in the room. And there is absolutely a high level of, like, the way that I've prepped my speakers is that this is not repetitive stuff. This is brand new information, game-changing strategies to help support this next level of growth within your business. This level of immersion you can't get from a course when you're doing it in your office. You can't get from a networking event that you go to because it's just a little bit of a chat over coffee. This is facilitated networking, so teaching you how to effectively facilitate networking in a way that you've probably never done before. It is learning and being super present in that room so you can absorb all the intentional information so then you can implement it into your business. And we do that intentionally. It's not just rah-rah. It's not just chit-chat overview. I go through every speaker's presentation and I ask them specifically, like, we need to get specific. Like, please don't deliver overview. Please make sure that it is intentional. It's giving people actual practical strategies they can implement into their business straight away. It needs to be valuable. And so I'm really intentional with that, but I'm also really intentional with the moments that happen throughout the day, because in my experience, the speakers have been great, but it's the intentional moments that have happened throughout the day and those conversations over lunch, those conversations at the coffee cart. Those are the ones that I found have been the biggest trajectory changer for me. And so, and I can give you an example, many probably examples of, like, I remember having drinks with one lady that I met at this event, at an event that I went to in the lobby. We were just having a drink after the event in the lobby. And I always say, like, if you're attending events, like, stay the night, book coffee catch-ups with people that the day after the people that you've met at the event. Let people know that you're going ahead of time and book connection opportunities. Go for a walk with people. The beach is right there, so you'll be able to literally go for a walk. Intentionally make connection opportunities. Like, intentionally do that. And so I remember chatting to this lady at this event, and she was really fascinating, and she was telling me a little bit about what she'd built. And I wanted to know more. And so I was like, what are you doing afterwards? And she's like, oh, just heading home. And I was like, want to go for a drink? And she was like, sure. So we went for a drink after. I went to the lobby bar and we got chatting, and she was incredibly successful, was doing like 100K months. And I was like not doing 100K months. And I was like, what can I learn from her without like interrogating her? We just had some really great chats because I was open, I was authentic, and I was interested and curious. And
Mm,
so she was telling me about a challenge that she was having, like a leadership challenge she was having with a team member. And I asked her a few more questions and I gave her some advice because I've managed teams before in the past. And she was like, that's so helpful. Thank you. And I gave her like full frameworks of like, I would go do this. And she was like, oh my God, no one's ever explained it to me like that before. I was like,
mm,
awesome. And then she started speaking to me about how she went about hitting 100K months and what her biggest takeaways have been and what if she was to do it again, how'd she do it? And in
mm,
that moment, I had this realization that I was like, sometimes it feels so far away, like your goals feel so far away. And you're like, I think I just need to focus on the how. But one of the biggest things that she gave me was like, it was actually who she was being.
mm. It's a big thing that I speak about. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so we had this moment, but internally, what I took away from it was like, she's just like me. And the goal of 100K months is not so external and it's
Mm,
not so out of reach. It's yes, taking the steps, but I was recognizing like I'm already capable because she's having these challenges that I could help her with. So I was like, of course, then I could also manage 100K months. So we don't realize sometimes the things that we tell ourselves that hold ourselves back, but
uh,
that conversation shifted things for me in a really powerful way. And that's just one. Honestly, there was just
yeah.
so many different conversations. But I think the biggest piece is like be in tension with asking really great questions.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. I
if you
was
don't,
exactly going to say that.
yeah,
And not just wanting to get information out of people as well, like
no.
want to learn about them.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
curious, be
Mm,
interested, and people will absolutely pour back into you. Because asking about like what you did on the weekend or like what do you do, who do you help, like that's absolutely boring. Like I would ask questions like, if you were famous next week, if you honestly became famous next week, what would you be famous for? Like, tell me some
yes.
good stuff. What are you excited about at the moment? What is a win that you've had for a client recently? Like, tell me about a win that you've had or a breakthrough or a result that you achieved for a client recently. Tell me that. And then tell me, how did you go about doing that for her? Like, I want to know all the ins and outs and I want to know why I should pay attention to you. And a lot of women in Australia don't even like,
I
probably
think
wouldn't
they're
even know how
afraid to ask those questions, though. I think they're
they're
afraid
afraid
to
to
ask the
ask
questions.
that.
Yeah.
They're also not prepared to answer them.
Yes, so true. And I guess that brings me to my last question for today. And this is going to be a big one, I think, because I find, and I speak a lot about the identity ceiling, and that's what you're just speaking about. Is that where are you right now? Are you actually behaving like the person you want to be with that 100K month? And I find a lot that people are searching for information, and they're using AI, and then they'll see there's a $27 course and all these different things. Do you think right now that growth within a person or within a woman in business is not going right because they're searching for the information instead of building community and going to events and actually thinking about who can I build relationships with?
Yeah, I think it's a big part.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I think it's a big part relationship wise. I think people build in silos and they are so scared to share what's really going on for them in their business and they think that they're alone in their own challenges.
Mm.
Business is fucking hard, like
Mm-hmm.
for everyone. So stop telling yourself it's hard for you because of whatever reason. It's hard because it's hard. Not everyone gets to do this. So challenging yourself to question that is really key. But I think like the other thing that comes to mind as you ask that question is yes, learn. Like, obviously, we need to learn and we need to grow and expand
Mm.
through that information. But what you do with that information matters more.
Mm-hmm.
People that are learning it and implementing it straight away and taking faster action and not questioning, not overthinking, not doubting themselves. Oh, yes, they're doubting themselves, but they're like, I'm willing to put it on the line. Like, I think the people that are super successful at the moment, they're actioning it much faster than a lot of other people and they're leaning on their community. Yes, they're developing community and they're focusing on relationships, but they're leaning on their community and they're being vulnerable in that way and challenging themselves to be like, okay, almost like treat this next like 3 months, if you're listening to this, like treat the next 3 months as if you were starting a brand new business and ask yourself, what would you do differently? And I
Mm.
guarantee you the majority of things that you could come to mind, you're not actually doing.
And reflecting on the questions that Christine has shown that you can ask if you want to go back and listen again, because there's been so many golden nuggets that you've given examples of questions to ask people when you're in those connection situations. And then also, I think, building the confidence within yourself as well. So how are you going to show up when you enter that room? Really envision that before you go into the room as well. And action. Yes. Action, action, action. Stop talking about it and start doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you
Absolutely.
so much for being here today, Christine. And would you like to share also how people can join the Unstoppable event, and it also be in show notes?
Absolutely. So the Unstoppable Women event is happening on the 10th and 11th of September. This year we added an extra day, which is a more implementation masterminding day. So you get the choice whether you'd like to attend one day or the two. And then we also have VIP after party drinks as well. So if you get to choose what you want to do. So you literally can go, I'm just going to do day one. Choose your journey. And we've got some incredible high-level speakers joining us and some incredible opportunities for networking and connections and game-changing strategies. Like the speakers, like the gifts that they're giving, honestly, like when they send them through, I got one yesterday and I was like, oh, you're giving this for free? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. I think they'll love it. And I'm like, yeah, they will. So like incredible gifts. Obviously you get goodie bags as well. And so 10th and 11th of September, it'll be at the QT Hotel on the Gold Coast. And I chose the QT because it is such an incredible vibe. It just honestly sets the scene for the Unstoppable Women event.
Mm-hmm.
And it is 2 full days. You can stay at the QT if you want to stay there. There's absolutely some extra codes there on the website. So you can check it out at unstoppablewomen.au. And then the Instagram page is the same, unstoppablewomen.au.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for giving me your time and sharing all your wisdom with my audience.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're
I've loved our
amazing.
conversation.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me on the Danni Vee Show today. I hope you're leaving this episode feeling inspired and empowered. My goal is always to bring you elegant insights with a bold impact. If you enjoyed our conversation, I invite you to subscribe to the show and leave a quick review. Your feedback not only means the world to me, but it also helps other growth-minded leaders find this community. Remember, leadership is an inside-out journey. The poise, the passion, and the purpose we cultivate within ourselves are what transform the world around us. So until next time, stay true to your vision and keep leading with the unique mix of grace and strength. Stay radiant, stay resilient, and I'll be right here cheering you on. I can't wait to hang out with you again on the next episode of the Danni Vee Show.